Hello, we are now ready to begin implementing the display menu subtask. So just as a quick reminder, this subtask is supposed to display the menu with 3 options to the user. The first option, which is option number 1, option number 2, option number 3. 1 for electricity, 2 for water bill calculation, 3 to exit. If the user enters a choice which is not 1, not 2, not 3, this module should keep prompting the user to enter the choice. If the user finally enters a correct choice, then this module or this function should return that choice. So you need to select which kind of loop are you going to use. For this kind of situation, it is probably going to be a do-while loop or a while loop. So I will show both approaches using a flowchart, but in the end I will probably use a do-while loop, but feel free to use a while loop. So let us begin with a do-while approach. How would it look like? So let us say start. Then if you are using a do-while, as the name itself, do-while, it means it is a loop that allows you to do, and then you check the condition at the end, and then you keep doing as long as the condition is true. So it means you do. What am I doing? You display the menu, then you tell the user to enter the choice. Once the user enters the choice, you save that choice. Then you check. If the choice is not 1, and the choice is not 2, and the choice is not 3, then it means you have to go back and tell the user to enter the choice again. Once the user enters the choice, we save it. Then we check it. If it is not 1, if it is not 2, and if it is not 3, we go back to tell the user to enter the choice again. And so on, and so on, and so on. A time will come the user will enter either 1, or maybe 2, or maybe 3. At this point, this condition is no longer met, so the loop stops. When the loop stops, what do we want to do? We want to return that choice. And that will be the end of our function. Alright. How about a while loop approach? So if you want to use a while loop, we all know that a while loop will test the condition at the top. Okay? It will test the condition at the top, somewhere at the top. So in order for you to test your choice, it means on top you will have to tell the user to enter the choice. So it means on top, you're going to display the menu, and then you're going to tell the user to enter the choice. Once the user enters the choice, you're going to save that choice. From here now, you already have the choice, so you can test your condition. If the choice is not 1, and it is not 2, and it is not 3, if that is the case, what do? You tell the user to enter the choice again. Once the user enters the choice, you save it. Then you go to test this choice. If it is not 1, and it is not 2, and it is not 3, you tell the user to enter the choice again. Once the user enters the choice, you save it. Then you go to test it. If it is not 1, and it is not 2, and it is not 3, you display the menu, and you tell the user to enter the choice again. You save it. And you see, so now you have your while loop. So the only difference between a while loop and a do-while loop is that when you are dealing with a while loop, you will have to introduce this part on top to capture the choice first before you come to test your condition here. And then once your condition is here, this is where the while loop begins. And then this inside, below this condition, is where you're going to have the body of the while loop. So you will be rotating up to that condition and going back up to that condition and going back. Okay? Once the condition becomes false, you move away from the body of your loop, you go outside the body of your loop, and we just return the choice, the choice that the user has entered, which could be either 1 or 2 or 3. And that is what we want to do in our display menu function. So let me use a do while loop for implementation, but feel free to use a while loop if you want. Okay, so this is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. So I'm going to create my file. I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it utility company.cpp. Then hash include IOStream using namespace std. Now you can, so this could be your main function, okay, something like this. Now we all know that when you are developing your own function, it has to be placed outside the main function, either at the top or below of your or below the main function. So we are going to create a function called display menu. We are calling it that name because it is a good name that describes the work of our function. Okay, so this function, once it completes, we want it to return an integer representing the choice that the user selected. So inside our function, what do we want? We are going to use a do while loop. So we are going to say do, and then what do we want to do? We are going to display a menu. So this is how we are going to display it. Okay, it's going to consist of 1 for electricity bill. You see, now let me, I will not put a semicolon here because I'm still displaying. Okay, so this is just going to be one sentence. So 2 is for water bill, and then you have another choice which is 3 for exit. All right, then you're going to tell the user enter your choice. Okay, so once the user enters the choice, we are going to save that choice. So we are going to say int. Okay, so the choice is either 1 or 2 or 3, so the correct variable is integer. So we are going to say int choice. Then we are going to save that choice. So we are going to say cin choice. We are just implementing our flowchart. Okay, then after saving that choice, we are going to say if the choice, while the choice is not equal to 1 and the choice is not equal to 2 and the choice is not equal to 3, keep displaying the menu and telling the user to enter the choice, and so on and so on. Once the user finally enters a choice which is either 1 or 2 or 3, we should just return that choice. Okay, now notice that I have declared choice within these do brackets. So it means I will not be able to use it outside here, and I will not be able to use it outside here. I will get a certain error. Okay, so let me remove it from inside these do brackets and let me declare it somewhere here. Okay, so as you can see, our subtask is completed, our function is ready. You can test it. Okay, you can come here in the main function and test it. Okay, if you want. Okay, I leave that to you to test it, but so far so good. Thank you for listening. Watch out for the next video as we implement the next subtask.